Welcome again. Nandito na tayo sa research methods. Okay? So, define your subject kasi importante na interesado ka sa ginagawa mo para maging successful yung research activity. No? Ask questions. This is the only way na para maging palagi kang motivated. You remain motivated. Okay. If you are motivated, may mga bagay na nandito ito sa inyo. Malamang na you are fascinated by what you are doing, or this research thing na ginagawa mo. And maybe you have identified a gap in a research literature. Okay, so kaya kung hindi ka naman motivated, tanungin mo yung sarili mo, how can I remain interested in my research? So be creative and think about. Most of you na nagkakandak ng research ay sabi nga, you don't have a choice. Some of you maybe have a choice, di ba? So, halimbawa itong subject na ito, maybe you're doing this dahil lang sa requirements ito, but tanungin mo rin yung sarili. Now, if you are going to engage in research activities, ask questions. So, something which will fascinate you, ito yung bagay na mag-fire up sa'yo to keep motivated, no? Kaya ang suggestion ko is mas maganda na pumili kayo ng research na interesado kayo. So, ano yung mga personal na characteristic din na kailangan ninyo, na alam ninyo sa inyong sarili, na pwedeng makatulong para makumpleto yung research. Isipin nyo yung sarili, yung mga likes and dislikes, strengths and weaknesses, habang nagpaplano ka sa research. Ano yung isang bagay na magaling ka? Magaling ka ba sa computer? Magaling ka sa kung ano-ano pa, electronics? So maganda po kung ano yung bagay na yung enthusiast ka, no? So, and then what skills and experience do I have which might help in my research? Tanungin mo rin yung sarili, ano yung may skills na meron ka para makatulong ito sa research na ginagawa mo. Ikaw ang nakakaalam nun. So all of these things ay magbibigay po sa atin ng pagnanasa o desire to conduct research. It will keep us motivated. Okay? Meron nga tayong 5W na pwede natin gamitin din. Ito yung what, why, who, where, when. So itong 5 W na ito, pwede nating gamitin din para mas lalong ma-identify natin yung subject natin at mas ma-engage tayo dun sa research na gusto nating gawin. So, stands for what is your research? Ano ba yung research na gagawin mo? So, actually, this question needs to be answered as specifically as possible. One of the hardest parts in the early stage, yun pong is if you are to be able to define your project. Okay, so much research fails, karamihan ay yun nga because the researcher has been unable to do this. Sabi nga, a tip, sum it up in one sentence. Yun yung isang bagay na maganda. Pangalawa, itong why is, why do you want to do the research? Bakit gusto mong gawin ito? What is its purpose? Okay, you might have been told to do some research, maybe by your tutor, or by your boss, or by your teacher. But there should be another reason why you have chosen your particular subject. It should be, and then it might be solely to do with the fact na kung saan interesado ka. At itong isa pang question, who? Who will be your participants? Sino ba yung involved dito? You should think about these things, no? Itong type of people with whom you will need to get in touch with, and whether it will be possible for you to contact them, people who take part in research, the participants or respondents, who are your participants, importante rin to. And then where. So where are you going to conduct your research? Saan mo gagawin to? Thinking about this question in geographical terms will help you to narrow down your research topic. Also, you need to think about where you'll be carrying out your research in terms of venue. If you're going to conduct interviews or focus group, where will you hold them? Is there a room at your institution, which you would be free of charge? Or are you going to conduct them in participants' own homes? Would it be safe for you to do so? Would you be comfortable doing so? So ito yung dapat masagot din natin. And then when? So when are you going to do your research? Kailan mo gagawin? Thinking about this question will help you also to sort out whether the research project you have proposed is possible within your time scale. So it will also help you think more about your participants, when you need to contact them and whether they will be available at that time. Yung mga bagay na yan, mahalaga yan. So kaya nga po, pag ito po ay napag-isipan mo na, itong 5 W's, i-sum up mo siya. Try to sum it up, your proposed project in one sentence. Pag nagawa mo na ito, when you have done this, take it to several people, dalhin mo siya sa iba't ibang mga tao like your boss, tutor. Tanungin mo sila if it really makes sense. Do they understand what your research is about? Naintindihan ba nila ito? Or if they don't, ask them to explain ano yung bagay na nakapag-confuse sa kanya. So revise also your statement and take it back to them. So yan. Let's have these 3 projects below. Let's see if you can spot any potential problems. So, what questions would you ask to make the researchers focus in or their proposed project? So do you have any suggestions for the improvement of these statements? Halimbawa, statement number 1. This research aims to find out what people think about television. What do you say about this? So actually, this proposed project is both broad and obscure. So my first questions would be, what people and what television? Okay? So then I would ask, what is the purpose of this research? Who would be interested in the results? TV companies already employ market researchers to conduct a great deal of research into public viewing, and they have much larger budgets available to them. There's little point in repeating research if it cannot be improved upon. However, if the researcher has an interest in this particular issue or is perhaps on a media studies course, there are a number of ways in which this research could become more manageable. The researcher could focus in on a particular type of program and or a particular type of person. Okay? So statement number 2. It's about my project is to do some research into Alzheimer's disease to find out what people do when their relatives have it and what support they can get and how nurses deal with it. Okay? So what is your comment on this? Actually, the main problem with this statement is the grammar. The topic itself is more focused, as the researcher has mentioned, specifically the areas he wishes to consider: nurses, attitudes, careers, experiences, and available support. His topic is immediately more manageable because he is only considering nurses or carers who come into contact with sufferers of Alzheimer's disease. However, he needs to think about whether he is going to consider hospitals, residential homes, or both, and in what areas. Also, is he going to contact people who look after their relatives at home. Ayan. Okay? And for number 3 I have here, we want to find out how many of the local residents are interested in a play scheme for children during the summer holiday. So in this statement number 3, this project put forward by a tenants association appears to be straightforward and manageable, although there are still several issues which need addressing. So my first question for this topic would be, do you really want to find out how many of the local residents are interested? Or do you want to find out the interests of residents with children of the appropriate age who would actually use the scheme? Okay? So these are just exercises, no? When you are going to have your proposed project. Okay, so I do believe na we can do better than this, and we can present our statement in a much simpler and understandable and very specific siya and right to the point. Yan po yung makikita natin na nagbibigay ng encouragement, or it pushes us to conduct the research in conducting this activity. Okay? So thank you.